there were some other reasons also. Okay, here there are the other economic reasons that are going to be there. Okay, the other economic reasons that are there, and I have already explained this. Okay, the economic reasons. So just go through this, guys. Just go through this, go through the economic reasons. Okay, I'm just stepping a bit aside for you guys to read it through. We have discussed everything. Okay, you just have to read through it. Whatever we have discussed, correlate it with that. Okay, then here other economic and political aspects. All right, so this is going to be there. Now, when we talk on the features of the particular extremist people, so what can we understand here in the features is that these people, they had a hatred for foreign rule. They are going to have a hatred for foreign rule. They worked, they thought that Indians, they should work out their own salvation. If Indians want to develop, we should be taking the helm of affairs in our hands. They've thought on Swaraj as the goal of the movement, and I've already told you what does Swaraj mean. It means self government. They advocated direct political action and self sacrifices because they believed that if we are just writing petitions and all, things will not get improved. So there should be direct political action, and that direct political action, it is the extra constitutional steps, that is going to be strikes. Okay, then there is going to be protest. Strikes are there, then protest is there, then there is going to be boycott is there, then Swadeshi is there. So all of these are direct steps that are going to be against the Britishers that we need to do. They believed in the capacity of the masses, because what the extremists believed is to create a popular pressure, to create a popular pressure on the Britishers. Popular pressure, what does it mean? Popular means masses, and masses, the pressure of the masses, because the moderates, they were just focusing on the political class that was to participate, which would not have that much of numbers. But here, when the masses participate, it would create the pressure, it would have that basis. They wanted, their movement was also democratic in character. They were egalitarian, that means they wanted equality within the people. They were non-violent, they were anti-colonial, and they were also secular in outlook. See, majoritarily, when we talk of the extremists, they were generally secular in outlook. However, there was many a times when there was some extremist leaders who when there was some extremist leaders whose whose activism is going to have certain religious undertones. For example, there is going to be Aurobindo Ghosh, who is going to be telling for a Hindu nation. Aurobindo Ghosh is talking for a Hindu nation. So an aspect of Hindu nationalism was there. So that is one aspect that is going to reduce the secular fabric of the extremist ideals. Then there is going to be, okay, the Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, what happened is that the some of the initiatives, okay, means here, yes. So one was the Aurobindo Ghosh, and second is going to be the Bal Gangadhar Tilak, who is going to say on Shivaji and Ganpati festivals that it should be nationally celebrated. Means it should be majorly celebrated, not nationally, it should be majorly celebrated. And also he's going to talk on the anti-cow killings. anti-cow killings. So some people are going to consider it, against the secular fabric. That was the idea. Okay. Now, apart from that, also the particular extremist movement, it sometimes was considered to be regressive. Regressive, that means backward bringing. Why? Because there is one example that generally in criticism is given in this particular point, is that there was one particular bill that was to be passed, and that bill was known as the Age of Consent Act. Now, what happened is that at that point of time in India, the particular children, okay, the young female children, they were married even below the age of 10. So here the nationalistic Indians, they wanted the age of the minimum marriage age of the female children to increase. And one particular act that was one particular proposal bill that was brought by a Parsi reformer, B.M. Malabari, was the age of the consent bill. And this bill, it was passed. However, Tilak Saab is going to oppose this particular bill, and when he opposed it, people criticized him that you are being regressive, you are not being progressive. So that is one criticism here. However, the original means this particular bill, it was opposed by Tilak. That is going to raise a question that, Tilak, do not you want the minimum age of the girl's marriage should increase? If you want it, why are you opposing it? And if you are opposing it, means that you do not want the minimum age of the girl marriage of the girl child to increase. That means you are promoting child marriage. So this was a criticism given on Tilak. But what was the reality wherein Tilak, he is going to oppose this particular age of consent act? So the reality was that it was an act. Okay, and prior to being an act, it was a bill. When it was a bill, it was to be introduced in the Legislative Council. And this Legislative Council, it was considered to be a British institution. And if a bill that was associated with social reform in India, how can that bill, or how can that thing needs approval from the British? He was of that idea. Why does a social reform that has to happen in India need approval from a British institution? So he majorly promoted that such reforms should be brought by Indians itself. It should not be brought by Britishers. It should be us. So he also wanted the minimum age of the girls to increase. However, he wanted it from the Indians' side, not from the British institutions. So that is the idea. Moreover, they had radical demands like Swaraj. I told you, right? Radical and liberal, we have understood it. They followed radical methods, the extra constitutional, that is Swadeshi and Boycott. Alright, so this is going to be another interpretation when we talk on this particular aspect of the extremist.